All right, good morning, or I should say good afternoon. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss Fantasy Football Live on this Columbus Day, Monday, October 9th. So didn't do the stream last night, but I figured I would do it this morning. Got a little bit behind on things last evening, so that's why I wasn't able to do it. But I'm here now, and we got a lot to get to. Want to go through all the games from yesterday that we didn't cover. Of course, I did cover the Bills-Jaguars game that I released on another video. Plus the injury news, which is devastating for Indianapolis Colts rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson. We'll get to that. But if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button before we go any further, and the like button and the notification button. So, so Mark, yes, I am feeling almost 100% better. Thank you for asking. Now, the Anthony Richardson situation leads things off today. And, listen, this is a devastating potential injury for him, a sprained AC joint in his shoulder. So this is already the third injury this season that Richardson has dealt with. He's had a concussion, he's had a knee problem, and now it's the shoulder. And this is the most serious one. So he's going to get not one, not two, but three, opinions in addition to one that gave him the information about the sprained AC joint in the shoulder. And surgery is on the table. That is a possibility. And of course, if that happens, Richardson is done for the season. So the best case scenario is that he misses a month, comes back, finishes the season. But no matter how you slice it, this is really bad news for Anthony Richardson and his fantasy football owners. And it's a shame too, because from a football perspective, we're not going to be able to see him for a while, and he's been electric. There's no doubt about it. Anthony Richardson has been the real deal. I was very leery of him, initially coming into the season because of the lack of experience in college, only 13 starts, I believe, total. But, he's made a believer out of me when he's been on the field. Like, he's been that good. His mechanics still need some work, but he's thrown the ball better than I anticipated. Of course, he's a running a star already, right in the mold of a Cam Newton or a Justin Fields. So he's been putting up points by the boatload, when he's on the field, but now he's going to be out for a while. So Gardner Minshew obviously steps up. He's the best backup quarterback in football. This is not devastating for the Colts offense, and Michael Pittman, I think Michael Pittman, I've said this before, and Josh Downs, for that matter, have better outlooks with Gardner Minshew from a passing perspective than an Anthony Richardson does. And, either way, this is a big loss. There's just no other way to look at it. So, we'll get more information as we go along. But expect to not see Anthony Richardson for a while. And Daniel Jones, it looks like he's avoided the worst. Of course, Jones left early in the utter embarrassment, the Giant game against the Miami Dolphins, with a neck injury. And remember, Daniel Jones had a neck injury a couple of years ago, which was very scary. So anytime you talk about Daniel Jones in his neck, alarm bells go off. So apparently, though, reports this morning is that he avoided anything serious, and he may even have a chance to play against the Buffalo Bills. Now, given the ferocious Buffalo pass rush, although this is a very injury-wrecked Bills defense, it might be best to sit Daniel Jones at least for a week. But either way, it is that bad with the New York Giants, and I don't have to say it again. They need to trade Saquon Barkley. Like, there's no reason to keep him around. This team is just sinking like the Titanic. They are the worst team in football, hands down, even worse than New England. And Mark, as far as New England, listen, it's as bad as it can get there as well. And Mac Jones is probably going to get benched this week, I would imagine. Hi, Arthur. How are you? I did get back to you, Arthur. I don't know if you saw that. I tried to answer your question yesterday after I ended the stream, but I appreciate the super chat. Would you drop Richardson and pick up Purdy or Burrow? Either one of them. Preferably Burrow, because, listen, he looked really good yesterday. So is Burrow now over the injury? Maybe. Brock Purdy, 4 touchdown passes. I would go with either one of them. And unfortunately, like I said, Richardson's not going to be around for a while, so you have to make that move, Arthur. Should I consider trading for Jefferson? I have Chase, Lamb, Ridley, Cooper. You could, and that's the other big injury. So Jefferson has a hamstring injury, so they're going to evaluate him today. Get a better and thank you, Arthur. Get a better idea on how long Jefferson could be out. So my one team, so I'm 5-0 in my friends and family league, but I have Jefferson and I have James Conner, who suffered a knee injury. So the injuries are really piling up. And there's another running back one who comes down with an ailment. So, not great. And by the way, so tonight, Davante Adams is playing for the Raiders. He has not practiced all week, but I haven't heard anything about Aaron Jones, who's questionable. And this concerns me because in my work league, where I'm 3-1, I'm literally down by a 1.2 to my opponent, who had Tony Pollard going last night. And Pollard only put up 8 fantasy points in a complete dud as the Cowboys did nothing against the 49ers. But I literally need 1.21 points to win this matchup. And if Aaron Jones doesn't play, I'm literally left with picking up, and I already picked him up, Amir Abdullah, hoping he catches a pass. Zamir White maybe, or Emmanuel Wilson. Like, holy crap. Like, I probably may not be able to win this if Jones is not in it tonight. And I haven't heard anything, which is a little scary, if you ask me. So, but again, yeah, a lot of injuries yesterday, and we're going to get to everything. Now, I wanted to start off with that Colts game. So they beat the Titans 23-16. We cashed with the Colts, 4-1 with the picks this week. So really, really good week with the picks. Hope you guys made some money. Gardner Minshew comes in 11 of 14, does not throw a touchdown pass. And the big story here, I mean, my God, Zach Moss went absolutely ballistic, and the timing was right. So 23 carries for 165 yards and 2 scores. He was a Sunday star, no doubt about it. And this, when Jonathan Taylor makes his return to the team. Now, if you put Jonathan Taylor out there yesterday, it was a big problem, right? He hardly got any work. He 6 carries for 18 yards. He looked like he was running, in quicksand, and it's going to take some time for that rust to be worked off. Listen, Zach Moss played so good, and he has played good, in filling in for Taylor, that I don't think he's going away now. So if you're a Jonathan Taylor owner expecting bell cow work, probably not going to happen now. So at least initially. So Zach Moss has been too good to just simply put him to the sideline. So it could be a 60-40 or even a 50-50 split, which is not ideal for either guy. Hey, Vinny, how are you? Can you help me pick 3 to start? CD, Bijan, K9, or Kamara? You're going to start Bijan, I would say CD and Kamara. But I do like all 4 of those guys. Tough 176 to 170 loss this week. Almost overcame DJ Moore and Tyreek. Wow, yeah, that's a rough one. And I might take the cake on that if Aaron Jones doesn't play tonight. I'm down 1.2. But so Derrick Henry, another, so Henry was good last week, but 13 for 43, 3.3 per carry. Tajay Spears, guys, is a thing. I told you guys to pick up Tajay Spears a couple of weeks ago, and you're welcome, Vinny. 7 for 34 and a touchdown on the ground, 4.9. He has that explosive speed. And how about 4 for 37 through the passing game? So Tajay Spears, if anything happens to Derrick Henry, if he gets traded, Tajay Spears could be a league-winning guy. I was offered Etienne and Judy, and I would give up Moss and Olave. Should I take this? Yes, I would do that. I definitely would do that. For sure. Yeah, Breece Hall definitely back. Now, how about this too? DeAndre Hopkins, who's been pretty listless coming into this game, 8 for 140. So I didn't think Ryan Tannehill would be able to prop up anybody at his advanced age and how badly he's been playing. But DeAndre Hopkins, 8 for 140, just a monster game for him. The Colts, Josh Downs, 6 for 97. Josh Downs is a nice player in PPR. He's not going to wow you with, although the yardage was really good in this one, he's not a big play guy, probably not going to score a lot of touchdowns, but he led the Colts in receiving. Michael Pittman, 5 for 52. It's just an okay outing for him. But again, if you're a Pittman owner, if you're a Josh Downs owner, I think it's not bad that you have Gardner Minshew because he's the better pure passer between him and Anthony Richardson. Drop Hunter Henry for Jonnu. Yeah, I would. I mean, there's no sense in having any New England Patriot. All right, the Atlanta Falcons, 3-2. They defeat the Houston Texans 21-19 at the gun. Desmond Ridder actually played okay, 28 of 37, 329 and a touchdown. He did run. I believe he ran for one on the ground too. Yes, he did. So Desmond Ridder, he showed signs of progress today, and that's what you want to see. Sort of like with Zach Wilson with the Jets. Incremental progress, and we'll take it. CJ Stroud, 20 of 35, 1 touchdown. Again, still has not thrown an interception. Shows you how accurate he is. As far as the Falcons offense. So Bijan Robinson, 14 for 46 on the ground. Not very good. Did catch 2 passes for 12 yards and managed to score. So Bijan Robinson made the most of his limited impact. Didn't do much of anything, in the passing game. Kyle Pitts, we had a Kyle Pitts and a Drake London sighting. 7 for 87 for Pitts, 6 for 78 for Drake London, who also completed a pass. Hey, listen, that's about as good as you could possibly expect out of those two guys. And even Jonnu Smith, 6 for 67. So the Falcons are using 2 tight ends liberally. And at least for one night, it worked. Even Dalton Schultz, another tight end, 7 for 65 in a score. Dalton Schultz was a guy during the summer I told you to pick up because I thought, a rookie quarterback with a capable receiving tight end, Dalton Schultz, would be a good thing. It took Schultz a while to get going, though. Really not until these last 2 games did he catch on and literally catch on, and he's done a nice job. Tank Dell left early with a concussion, 3 for 57, was on his way to a nice game. Nico Collins, still inconsistent, 3 for 39, not really developing any sort of consistency, but it's either all or nothing with Nico Collins. Dameon Pierce, 20 of 66 on the ground. So, he's getting a ton of touches, but they're just not having any success on the ground whatsoever because the Texans' offensive line is just completely decimated. Detroit Lions, without Amon-Ra St. Brown, without Jahmyr Gibbs. It was the David Montgomery show again, 19 for 109. He was a Sunday star and a touchdown. He has scored in every single game this season, caught 2 passes in this one. So, listen, David Montgomery, who is you're up 14 and your opponent has Watkins. I think you got it. Might be a little tight, but I think you got it. But getting back to David Montgomery, he was anybody who went value at running back. That was one of the guys I was pushing, and I did draft him in the league that I'm 5-0. He's been phenomenal. He averaged 5.7 per carry, and this is a guy who's usually struggles to put up big runs, but he has been money all season, especially the last 2 weeks. Much to the chagrin of Jahmyr Gibbs owners. And how about this? Miles Sanders now 2 weeks in a row under 50% in terms of snap share. Chuba Hubbard tops him again. Hubbard 9 for 35 on the ground. Sanders 7 for 32. And Sanders didn't even catch a pass. So Miles Sanders has been a huge bust coming off of that big contract in free agency. I'm very concerned about him. I thought, he would rebound this week and going forward, but now I'm not so sure. So this is something that we really need to be concerned with ourselves here. Jared Goff, 20 of 28, 236, 3 scores. The Detroit passing attack, Josh Reynolds, 4 for 76. He was the leader with a touchdown. Sam Laporta, only 3 catches for 47 yards, but he scores twice. So, 16, almost 20, it was 20-point game for Sam Laporta in PPR. He's already he is a top 5 tight end. Let's face it, he's been that good right out of the gate. All right. Also, Adam Thielen, 11 for 107 in a score. Adam Thielen has been money in the bank. Anybody who invested in Adam Thielen has a leg up on their league right now. That's how good he's been. Listen, when he signed with Carolina during the offseason, I did a separate video on Thielen saying that I think that he could be a really good high-end wide receiver 3, maybe even a low-end wide receiver 2 as the clear number one guy for Carolina, breaking in a rookie quarterback. And Bryce Young played well yesterday, and he really needed that, especially with how well C.J. Stroud has been playing. But Adam Thielen has been one of the best guys. There's certain guys that get drafted every year in the early middle rounds. I'm talking like 5, 6, 7, and 8. In those rounds that have the biggest impact on fantasy football leagues in terms of, like Adam Thielen, for instance. I think he was like, a 6th round pick, 7th round pick. He has tilted to his owner's favor a lot of leagues because of the value from where he was picked, right? That was last year with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf because nobody wanted any part of the Seattle passing game with Geno Smith, who actually turned out to play really well. So Adam Thielen has been that guy this season. 4-1, let's go. Josh Reynolds saying, hey, Rain, congratulations. Would you trade Gibbs for Ridley? I would definitely trade Gibbs for Ridley. All right, Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins, no surprise there, 22 at 30. 2 more touchdown passes. He threw 2 picks. One of them was deflected. So, I mean, that's a little bit a negative there. But the Dolphins were just toying with the Jets the entire game. Devin Achane, like, what else is there to say? 11 for 151, 13.7 to carry. Of course, he had a long touchdown run, one catch for 14 yards. Just silly numbers. Like the running back league winner of the year right now is Devin Achane. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about it. He was a late round pick in all leagues. In some leagues, he didn't even get drafted. So that's that. It's just insane what we're seeing there. Raheem Mostert, 10 for 65. He scored. So, the last 2 weeks between these two guys, it's almost been a 50-50 split. So, thank you, Grind Don't Stop. I appreciate that. And as far as Cousins to the Jets and more, I don't see it happening. Especially the way Cousins used the Jets to up his contract with the Minnesota Vikings and bragged about it. I don't see that happening. I think ownership would look pretty dumb to bring him in after what he did to them. But Achane and Mostert, pretty much 50-50 split. So going forward, that's who you're going to have to expect between the two. But Achane, obviously, and even Mostert to a lesser extent, making the most of their touches. Tyreek Hill, 8 for 181 in the score, like just impossible. He got nicked up, didn't play the last drive of the first half. Was a little concerned there, but he's always out there. He's banged up a lot, Tyreek Hill, but he's always out there, and his numbers are just stupid every week. Jalen Waddle got into the end zone, 5 for 35 in the score. Jalen Waddle, listen, it's been frustrating this season with him. There's only so many balls to go around, and the majority of them go to Tyreek Hill. That's just how it goes. And Tua Tagovailoa has some Matthew Stafford in him in terms of zeroing in on one guy. As far as the Giants, other than Darren Waller, who is 8 for 86, there's just nothing to talk about here. Is Tyrod Taylor going to start? That's the question now for this week. But at least Darren Waller gave you something. New Orleans Saints, the Saints defense, guys. Remember, all summer, that was the defense I told you to draft. New Orleans Saints shut out the New England Patriots. Back-to-back embarrassments for Bill Belichick. And here's the thing. The only way I see Belichick staying on with the Patriots after this season, whether he retires or goes somewhere else, is if they get Caleb Williams. I think Belichick's going to want to stay around if they get Caleb Williams and they end up with the top pick, which is very possible. If Caleb Williams ends up at the Patriots, then I think Bill Belichick would stay. My week was destroyed thanks to Hill, Chase, and Kittle. You played all three of them? Wow. Yeah, that's tough, man. No doubt about it. Would you try to move Saquon? I would. This offensive line is so bad that he's not going to have any room to run. So Mac Jones, we talked about that. So Alvin Kamara, 22 of 80, one touchdown on the ground, 3 for 17 through the air. It was a huge day for him. He's getting about 70+% snap share, which is what he has gotten the last 2 years with the Saints. So nothing has changed for Kamara. He's getting those touches. And I think he's going to continue to get them going forward. Ramondre Stevenson, I told you he was to the bench this week, 8 for 24. Ezekiel Elliott, 8 for 21. Guys, the last 3 weeks now, it's been almost a 50-50 share. This is a big potential problem for Ramondre Stevenson. I'm really concerned about him. He didn't even catch a pass in the game. Elliott caught 4 for 17. Elliott was the more productive of the two. This is really bad news for Ramondre Stevenson. Like, I think we need to be very concerned about this. There's just no other way to look at it. Dalvin Cook, I don't think they're going to cut him. I don't think they're going to trade him, Jermaine. I think they're going to cut him. Now, Chris Olave, back-to-back duds, 2 for 12. He got lucky that he scored. Let's face it. Listen, I think he's a buy low. I really do. Derek Carr is, the shoulder or whatever he's dealing with. I forget what the injury was, but he's not 100%. I think that he's improving. Olave is way too good to continue to struggle like this. I know it's been a rough couple of weeks, but we just went through this with Calvin Ridley, who had 3 weeks of duds, and then he went ballistic yesterday. So I think that could be the case with Olave. I would buy low on him. Michael Thomas, 4 for 65. He's yet to score a touchdown, but Michael Thomas is doing his thing, right? He's healthy. That's the biggest thing with him. He's catching his 5 passes each week, 4 or 5 passes each week. And in a PPR league as a wide receiver 3, it's working. I did see that, but he played through it. I don't think it's a big deal though. All right, listen, Arguably the biggest dud of the week was Lamar Jackson. The Pittsburgh Steelers coming out with the win here. Jackson, 22 of 38, 236 yards. He lost a fumble. He threw an interception. He took a million sacks. Like, this was ugly. All right. So Lamar Jackson, growing pains with the Todd Monken offense. He was as big of a dud as you can get yesterday. Gus Edwards, 12 for 48 on the ground. Justice Hill, 7 of 32, and he scored a touchdown. Hill, 4 for 13 through the air. So Justice Hill and not Gus Edwards got the majority of snaps. So I think Justice Hill, if he's available, you need to pick him up. But this was just an ugly game all the way around. Zay Flowers, 5 for 73. He doesn't score again. He's not scoring touchdowns, guys. So he's been capped in that 10 to 14 range, which is fine in PPR. But I feel like he's capable of more. Mark Andrews, 6 for 65. Odell is a drop. Rashad Bateman's a drop. George Pickens, 6 for 130 in his score. He was really good. But by the way, Deshaun Watson did not practice today, so already concerned about him. Jaylen Warren. So Jaylen Warren was the better of the two, 9 of 40 running the football. Najee Harris, another dud, 14 of 37. He's just garbage. There's just no other way to describe him. Jackson was my suck of the week, no doubt. Tight end next week, Waller had a good one, faces Buffalo. Dan Jones could swap Kate Otten or Musgrave. I'm still going with Waller, Justin. They're going to target him heavily. Eagles 23-14 over the Rams. So the big story here is the return of Cooper Kupp, 90+% snap share. So he is back to his customary workload, 8 for 118. And here's the thing, guys. We were worried about, is Puka Nacua going to no longer be a wide receiver 1? 7 for 71, and he scores a touchdown. So listen, this is T. Higgins and Chase. This is Hill and Waddle. You have 2 wide receiver 1 talents now on this team. I mean, I think Kupp is going to get more targets than Nacua, but Nacua scores, Kupp doesn't. I think both of these guys can play off each other. It was amazing. A.J. Brown, 3rd straight monster week, 6 for 127. Dallas Goedert, finally, right? 8 for 117 and a touchdown. Devontae Smith, though, was left behind. So now this is clearly A.J. Brown's offense, right? So the first couple of weeks, it was a little slow. Brown popped off a little bit. Devontae Smith seemed to be the guy. But now it is A.J. Brown, no doubt. And now Dallas Goedert's even getting more work for Devontae Smith. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. ML, I would definitely have Keaton Mitchell. Gus Edwards doesn't have PPR value. All right. Running game. So DeAndre Swift, 17 for 70. He's still getting the majority of carries and 6 catches for 38 yards. So, I've always said that running quarterbacks don't throw to their running backs. Well, Jalen Hurts is throwing to his running back. So I think we can kind of, embrace that now and be like, wow, okay, DeAndre Swift is going to catch the passes now. Had Herbert and Keenan on bye, playing Jimmy G and Devontae Adams tonight, down 58. That's going to be tough to overcome. It looks like a loss might be coming there. Tyreek, Fabrice, and Keenan. Oh, that's fair. That is fair. It's hard, though, to trade Tyreek Hill. I'm sorry. It's just, I wouldn't bring myself to do it. We're going to do waivers tomorrow, Della GC. We're going to take care of that tomorrow. I'm going to be 5-0 in my league. Would you make a trade for another receiver? All right. So Pierce, Amon Rock, Kirk, Dell. I don't think it's as bad as you think, Mark. But I mean, I guess you could look to make a deal. But you don't have a lot of depth either at running back. So I think I would stand still. Kyron Williams, 13 for 53 on the ground, 2 for 4 through the air. So 2 out of 3 duds now for Kyron Williams. And again, I was not part of the Kyron Williams party. But the workload is there. Only Ronnie Rivers got 1 carry. So it's all Kyron Williams. Jalen Hurts led the Eagles, 15 for 72 on the ground and a touchdown, 25 of 38 through the air, 303 yards, another touchdown. So all systems go for Jalen Hurts, who's absolutely killing it right now. 3rd most points at 1 and 14. Yeah, that is really unlucky, man. And you see that all the time in leagues. It's all about, who you're playing that week. All right, the Cincinnati Bengals, a get-right game against the Arizona Cardinals. Joe Burrow was really good, guys, and Jamar Chase was just a monster. 36 of 46, 317, 3 scores, and 1 pick for Joe Burrow. Listen, Jamar Chase, 15 for 192 and 3 touchdowns, 52 PPR fantasy points. Like, the numbers this season are just insane. And if you went Tyler Boyd, he went 6 for 39, not great, but It was all Jamar Chase in this game, absolutely, and any concern about him is now completely by the wayside. And I think you can put Joe Burrow back in the lineup as well. Yeah, you could drop Tyler Algier. Lamar played good if you watch film. This guy, yeah, they were, Randy, but he was taking a lot of sacks too. I did watch the game. He also was late on some throws. There's no doubt about it. James Conner, 6 for 46 before he goes out with an injury. We have to be careful. Demercado, the backup, ran okay, 10 for 41 and a touchdown. He would be a waiver wire this week. Joe Mixon, 25 for 81 on the ground, 4 for 13 through the air. So, he's still kind of, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Marquise Brown, 4 for 61 in the score. So Marquise Brown continues to put forth numbers each week. Zach Ertz, only 2 catches for 10 yards, but he scored. There was a lot of drops for sure. No doubt about it. All right. So the Jets knock off the Broncos. We cashed with the Jets. That was one. The momentum was on the Jets side. Zach Wilson didn't play well. He threw a late pick, let the clock expire right before the half. So they won in spite of Zach Wilson. Russell Wilson, 2 more touchdown passes, but he took a lot of sacks. He ran for 49 yards. So Russell Wilson is getting it done in fantasy. There's no doubt about it. As much as we like to make fun of the guy, he's getting it done. Breece Hall, all week leading up to the game, I said, you better buy low now. That window is shutting. And boy, did it slam shut. 22 of 177 and a touchdown on the ground. He added 3 catches for 17 yards. This is a PPR running back 1, top 5 talent, hands down, no questions asked. It better be an Aaron Jones game because I literally need 2 points from him, like 1.3 to be honest, just to win my matchup tonight. All right, so, Garrett Wilson only 3 for 54. So this is what happens. This is what's going to happen. There's going to be solid games, and then there's going to be games like this for Garrett Wilson just because of the quarterback situation. Tyler Conklin, 4 for 67 was solid. Jameel McLaughlin, guys, was really freaking good. So the undrafted Youngstown State product, 9 for 68 on the ground. He was really explosive. He caught a touchdown pass, took it really, 22-yarder. 3 for 21 through the air, had a long run of 38 yards. He was explosive. There's just no doubt about it. But Samaje Perine played about half the snaps as well. He's not going anywhere. It'll be interesting to see. They play Thursday. What happens with Javonte Williams? Do they give him another game because McLaughlin played so well? It's possible. But now if all 3 guys are healthy, what's going to happen here, right? Jerry Jeudy, 6 for 50. His target share really was north of 25%. So Jerry Jeudy is now starting to get his legs under him after the injuries during the preseason. So that's what you want to see there. Stroud's going to have a tough go of it against the Saints, but, he hasn't thrown an interception yet, so I still would use him. Kansas City 27-20 over Minnesota. Travis Kelce, who I was going up against in that league that I'm trailing by 1.5. He goes out early with what looked to be a really scary non-contact injury. But what does Travis Kelce do? He comes back and he catches a touchdown pass. So Travis Kelce is just cut from a different cloth. 10 of 67 and a touchdown. I gave you guys Rashid Rice all week. He scores again. 4 catches for 33 yards is a modest total, but he scored a touchdown. So the day was a success. He's the most talented wideout on this team. They got to get him more and more looks. But, Kadarius Toney caught 5 passes for 26 yards. Pat Mahomes continues to move the ball around. Isaiah Pacheco, 16 of 55 on the ground. He scores. Mahomes, 2 more touchdown passes. Kirk Cousins, 2 more touchdown passes. So good game for both of them. Alexander Madison, 8 of 26 on the ground. He did not need this. Cam Akers got 5 carries, so he wasn't great either. But, it was a little closer to 50-50 now, so you got to be a little concerned if you're an Alexander Madison owner. You may not have a window now to trade him. Jordan Addison, 6 for 64 in the score. TJ Hawkinson, 5 of 51. Justin Jefferson went bust, 3 for 28. It's very rare you see Justin Jefferson put up such listless numbers in a game, but he did that here. So we have to be a little concerned going forward to what's going on with the hamstring. Listen, Jordan Mason was really good. So, I don't know, ML. He might be passing Mitchell on the depth chart because Mitchell just can't stay healthy. Speaking of the 49ers, 42-10 destruction over Dallas. We cashed with the 49ers. I told you Dak Prescott, this is the kind of defense that he's mistake prone against. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. I rest my case. Brock Purdy, the story continues. 4 touchdown passes. The guy, this is one of the greatest stories that we've seen in a while. Tony Pollard, 8 of 29 on the ground, nothing happening there. Jordan Mason, 10 to 69 in the score. Christian McCaffrey, 19 of 51 with a score. CeeDee Lamb, 4 for 49. I talked about this morning the issues that I have with CeeDee Lamb and the lack of targets going forward. George Kittle, what did he do? He caught only 3 passes, but they all went for touchdowns, 67 yards. Brandon Ayuk, 4 for 58. Deebo Samuel, third fiddle in this off passing attack, 3 for 55. So that's just how it goes. Excuse me there. Yeah, CMC scores every week. He scores every single week. Like, he's just justifying himself as a number 1 pick. Gallup and Cowboys is decent. Yeah, I mean, he's all right. You know, he's not that great. But yeah, so we'll just, listen, San Francisco is the best team in the NFL. This just goes without saying, 100%. So, all right, let's see here. All right, guys, I think that's just about it. So I'm going to sign off here. We got the game tonight with Green Bay and the Raiders. I need Aaron Jones to play. Hopefully he does. Voice starting to go a little bit, so that's why I'm going to pop out. But look for any videos later. I'm going to probably add some more content in the next couple hours, so look for that. Enjoy the game tonight. Keep the questions coming. We will talk soon, guys. Take care.